Hello world, boys and girls, shine your light bright like diamonds and pearls. You could be anything in this world. Weight on your shoulder, let that pressure like a curl. Hello world, they know my name.
Yo, guys. Welcome to the CJ on the Spot podcast. We in the building. And like always, I have a special guest with me. I haven't seen this young lady in, I want to say years. It's been a while.
It was pre-pandemic, so that was a million years ago.
Exactly. She is not only an actress, and a damn good one at that, she's a mother. I had to say that secondly, because, you know, that's one important job, right? She's a producer. It just does everything underneath the sun. I need y'all to give a special round of applause and make some noise for my special guest host, Alisha Seaton. Come here, so girl.
Hello.
What's up, girl? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I served both of us. I'll just have you all know. I just served him a glass of rosé. We're both drinking as we do this podcast. So,
Yeah.
you know, pour yourself a glass too.
Yes, disclaimer.
And enjoy it with us.
Clink, 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 clink. You know, I just recently got into the wine thing. Like, I always liked wine, and I went to, me and my girlfriend went to Napa Valley.
Yes.
And we went on this Castle Winery tour, and I'm just like, so damn bougie now. Like, I'm smelling my wine. I'm like swirling it around. I'm doing like the deep nose breathe, you know. And now it's like good reds and you know.
And you've got Santa Ynez you can go visit. Temecula has they have their thing going. We have a lot of excuses to go wine tasting on the weekend.
Don't get me started. I mean, you don't know the half of it. I'm like, a wine a week. I was trying to do like a wines Wednesdays, and this didn't work. I was like, I'm gonna choose a different wine every Wednesday, and I'm just like, this is how people have problems. So I.
What do you prefer, red, white, or rosé?
I prefer a red, but I like
okay,
a good.
well, then
like
I'm going to send you home with a red.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Well, amazing. I also like a good cab. You know what I mean? And I mean a good. I like semi-sweet. I like sweet. So I do like that too. But rosé. I mean, obviously you can have rosé anytime.
It is. It's the perfect. It's hot outside. I just want to sip something and relax.
Right?
Sip of wine.
Oh my gosh. So let me get started with saying, like, first of all, you know, I was stalking you on Instagram, not Instagram, but on your website and stuff. And you have won several Best Actress awards.
Oh,
right?
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, and a lot of these different film festivals and all that stuff. And I was just thinking to myself, like, which one of these does she feel she holds closer to heart? Like, you had one, I think, in 2017, right? Or was it 2018?
Yes, 2017, one in 2018, I think.
I think so, too.
Or 18 and 19.
18 and 19?
Yeah, something like that. They were...
So tell me a little bit about those projects, though. If you can remember. I mean, that's about 3 years ago now, but
well, it was really, I have to say, I mean, it was a small film festival, but it really means a lot to have somebody single out your work.
Yeah,
because
I bet.
There's a lot of people working their butt off out there and doing a lot of good stuff, and it's hard, especially with short films, because it's really hard for people. I mean, I honestly, Netflix, if you're listening, why hire me as a curator? Let me put together a group of shorts, like a, you know, thematic or genre. Short. There's so much good work out there that no one ever gets to see unless they attend a lot of film festivals.
That's true.
So it was really nice to know that one of the shorts I worked on, couple of shorts I worked on got recognized. One I had the lead in, one was I was nominated for supporting. But I remember that short in particular, I was really sick when I shot this really big emotional scene, and it just but it just every now and then, something kind of magic happens, and it
okay, a little
just
magic.
clicks. To back you all up a little bit. It's about an actress. I play an actress. That's a real stretch, and she has a father who has dementia, and she's trying to juggle her responsibility with him, but also having this career she's trying to get going. And she has been called back for this audition, and right as she's about to go in, she gets notified on the kind of this monitor, like an ankle monitor, essentially, that for people, if they wander outside a safe zone, you get alerted. And my father's essentially wandered out of the house.
Got you.
And so she's panicking, can't get a hold of the person she thought was taking care of him. And then I'm called into this audition, and I go in, and they start off with, we want you to play, we loved your work as so-and-so, but we think you'd be great as the mother. And we think, she just found out her husband's cheating on her, and she stalks him, and then she breaks her leg, but she's hiding it. And we just want to see you hop around and do laundry. And my character, my poor character is just there, and just this sort of humiliation. And I ask if there's any sides to prepare, and they're like, oh, no, you don't need sides, just hop around, and broke your leg. And it was this moment where I go to pick up the prop laundry basket in character, and my father is missing. And it was this weird moment where, as much as I love being on set, I'm completely home on set. Yeah. But whenever I choose to go work, I leave behind my own kids.
Oh, wow.
And my husband, and that's, that's okay. It's okay for someone to go pursue something they love. But I am taking time away, and it somehow it just channeled in at that moment where because I'm here, I'm not with them. So it met up with Jane, the character, because she's there, she's not with her dad. And she's not only there doing something that she loves, she's there being reduced and humiliated. I think one of the the casting director says, it's about the tragic side of aging women. And, so.
I'm already getting a little confused, because you said so you was an actress.
Yes, an actress who can't catch a break.
Catch a break. But everything you were describing was your character.
Yeah, that's what she's going through. And it was just great. Every now and then you don't have to reach for what the character is going through. It just shows up. So I had this moment, it's probably not very clear, I'm sorry, like this juxtaposition of when I'm away acting, I'm not with my children. And it met up with Jane, the character, when she's away struggling to make this career happen, she's not with her dad, who's now.
So it was easy to relate to the character, because you were pretty much going through almost the same thing to a certain degree.
It was great. I just had this moment of just breaking down, and my director was crying. The first AD was crying. I'm wow. If I made the first AD cry,
that
I'm in
is
a good
crazy.
Spot.
Now, you want to tell people what the AD is, because some people don't understand what that is.
Yes, it's the assistant director.
There you go.
She's the one essentially calling, getting everyone lined up. She's taking care of the schedule. She's making sure that you finish the day on time. Yeah. And it was just really nice, because I remember when I got done with work that day and went and found my husband, I told him, like, oh, it was just kind of a magical moment. Yeah. It was really satisfying to have found that character's emotions so, just sort of fell backwards into it. And then to have that character, and that's the scene that, like, when they showed the clips of the nominated Best Actors, like, that's the clip they used. And it was just nice to know that it wasn't just me. Yeah. That it worked for somebody else when they watched it. It meant something to them.
Now, you feel like a lot of people get their start with shorts. Do you feel like that?
Yes, I say if you want to act and you're coming to LA, say yes to everything to start. Don't say yes to the stuff where that's in any way exploitative or you're uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
Or the people just don't have their act together,
Yeah.
because then you're not going to get the footage back anyway.
Yes,
But-
we know that.
But assuming that on good faith that everyone is there to make something great, go and do it. I worked for free for years before I had that moment when I said, okay, now's the time when it's okay for me to
Want some money.
insist on
Getting
being
paid,
paid.
yeah.
And I was certain I would never act again.
Yeah.
And I did, and I
Yeah.
kept acting, and but I had so many credits under my belt at that point.
And so short films
Straight
allows you to get
shorts
some
and indies,
okay.
and you build a reel, a bunch of clips of your work. You can show people what you can do. You learn how to be on set. I did theater. I was a theater major. I did it all growing up, and it all through college. And I was a member of several theater companies in LA, and I love theater. And it's a great discipline, but it's a different performance.
It's a
than
way
film.
different performance.
And so to see your work back,
Yeah.
you realize, oh, that didn't look at all like I thought it did in my head.
I would say that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No, please.
I would say not every actor, actress out there who does cinema can be an on-stage actor or actress. That's just, I feel like that in my book. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe it's a talent that is, I don't know. I you know what I mean? Like,
Possibly.
I don't see people going both ways a lot.
I know a lot of people who do theater then do film and television.
Okay.
If someone has only done film and television, it would probably be, it would be definitely a new learning experience.
Well,
for
that's what I'm
them.
saying. Because I know was it Queen Latifah? I forgot somebody when they did. I want to say it was either The Lion King or some of that nature. And they there's a bunch of people out there I know that just do movies and they do cinema and they don't do theater. And I know there's a big difference in how you perform for it. Because in theater you can't mess up. I mean, it's hard.
No.
Like, you really can't mess up.
Oh, it
or you got to
teaches
improv your
you.
ass out.
Yeah.
You got to
No.
improv your ass off or something like that.
If you can focus through an hour and a half on stage without missing a cue or missing an entrance, and also being ready to help out if anyone else does, you can handle being on set.
Because there's some complicated things. I mean, I just watched Hamilton, because I have Disney Plus now, thank you. And I was watching Hamilton, and I'm just like, this had to be the most craziest rehearsal
Yeah.
ever. Like,
Yeah.
just all the different. I don't know if have you seen it yet.
I have not.
Oh
Don't
my
hurt
God!
me.
Kill
I know.
yourself.
I
She
know.
hasn't seen Hamilton. What?
I know.
Oh,
I deserve that. I know. I
Wow.
know. I actually, because I wish I could say I make my living purely as an actress, but I do not. I also am a substitute teacher for
okay.
high school.
Yeah.
And multiple times I've been called in to sub for performing arts
Oh wow.
at a local high school here. They have a performing arts academy. And I was called in for a music theater teacher position, which I knew absolutely nothing
about.
about. And I was like, I can teach you guys how to act. I don't know anything about the music.
Yeah.
And the kids performed for me something from Hamilton.
Hamilton?
And I didn't know that's what it was from. I was like, that was amazing. What was that? They're like, it's Hamilton, Miss Seaton. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You had to get taught, huh?
I did.
Oh
they
my
did. They
gosh.
schooled me.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite musical by any chance?
Oh, gosh, I've never thought about that. No, nothing. Like, there's so much that I enjoy what made me cry was The Lion King on Broadway.
I still have not seen that live.
Julie Taymor
Mhm.
is an amazing director, and she's one of those people that's on my list of I really would love to work with you. She just has this amazing visceral visual style. She did I think Across the Universe, the Beatles movie.
Okay.
And it's all just very it's very rich in color and sensation. And when I saw because initially when my friend said, let's go, I wasn't paying for the ticket, so I didn't feel like I could argue. I was like, oh, Disney? Really? Oh, okay. But he's paying for the ticket, so I'll let him pick. And it was not what I thought it would be. It's wasn't cutesy at all.
It was dramatic. It was
yeah, and it was so beautiful. Like I cried because it was beautiful in the beginning and the opening number. And as I'm sitting there crying, I was just like, who cries because it's beautiful? Like, this is crazy. But I loved that. I'm sure, I know there are more musicals out there that I've enjoyed. I did some when I was a kid.
Okay.
Until I discovered that other children then went on and took voice lessons and learned to sing. And I was still trying to get by on being a cute kid and couldn't carry a tune to save my life.
Well, my favorite one is Newsies, which is a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's the during World War II, is
the
it?
Newsboys, and they go on strike. And
yeah. Okay.
Disney
I've
has
never seen
I only saw the movie, the first one, which was back in. I don't know what year that movie came out, but oh my God, Batman. The guy who's oh my God, why I can't think of his name right now.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. He plays the lead role in this movie, as a Broadway movie, and about a couple years ago, Disney did a Newsies on Broadway. And like I finally got to watch it on TV because they finally released it, and still great. I love that one. Newsies is one of my favorite ones.
I'll definitely watch it. So, would you say that the movie lives up? Should I see the movie since I can't see
I think
Broadway performance?
Well, the Broadway performance is on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus,
I do.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. So
I do have
Newsies.
Disney
You see
Plus.
the guys like jumping in the air. I would say watch the movie first and then go ahead and watch the musical.
Okay.
I mean,
but
obviously,
first Hamilton.
And first Hamilton. Like it's like I had my friend listen to it with my surround sound in my house, and she's like, "Where have I been?" I'm like, I was like, "Yeah, you haven't lived yet because Hamilton is legit."
Yeah.
It's like
just
everybody.
the one number I saw performed by some high school students here in LA, and they had me. I was like, that was great.
Yeah, when you see the performance and then what they have to go through it, and I've noticed a couple people in the movie that I saw in different shows, like Netflix shows, stuff like that, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it is amazing. But speaking of shows, I know you recently just booked a show.
Yeah, I
don't know if you can tell us about it, but what can you tell about us?
Can I? I think I don't know. When will this podcast be released?
Probably next week.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just hint around.
Okay.
I mean, I think I'll just say it. I don't think it matters. I don't think they'll get mad at me. I'm very excited. It's a small role, but it's the first audition I've had in this pandemic.
Wow.
I'm really excited that I want to get back on set.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi thriller called Invasion, and it'll be on Amazon eventually. And Octavia Spencer is listed as the star. And it's going to be directed by a British director.
Okay.
Who I looked up. I watched some of his commercials and shorts that he did, and he's really good. And then I saw the trailer for his feature, and I got really excited because I haven't seen the feature yet. It's on my homework. I shoot in November, so I'll see it before then. But it looks like it'll be the loglines is something about a father trying to protect his two sons during an apocalyptic event. Yeah. And so I think it will be exciting, but it's going to have, based on what I saw of his work, it's going to have a very emotional, dramatic, human relationships. It's going to be as much about a relationship as it is going to be about, the excitement of.
So what was the process? I mean, obviously you had to do it in the pandemic. You had to do the audition. You had to do a Zoom audition,
I did.
How was that?
Well, I didn't even do a Zoom audition. I did a self-tape.
Oh, that's okay.
And then I had my friend call me on FaceTime and I set up my phone to record me, and I used my iPad to be my friend FaceTime me on the iPad.
Oh, wow.
So I set his little face up back on my dresser and recorded it in my bedroom and yelled at my kids to be quiet and
the struggles of a mom. Shut up, I'm trying to record. If you don't stop it, damn it.
The number,
take 52.
The number of blooper reels when I you hear screaming in the background all of a sudden.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations first and foremost, because I know how hard it is, especially now, to book something in a pandemic.
It felt really good. I love being on set. I'd say the hard thing about just being that person who shows up for a day is that a set is like a family.
Yeah.
And when you show up, you meet a lot of really nice people, but you definitely feel like the guest of somebody who's already been invited, and you don't know anyone, and everyone's nice, but they don't really know you, and then you go home, and it just you want to be back. You want to be part. You want to be a family member, and
I got you.
And hang out.
You miss it. My question was, when it comes to, like you said, it's a small role. In your eyes,
one
what's a small role?
Well, I mean, as the union, when it comes to getting paid as an actor, if you say anything on camera, you're immediately you're on SAG. You're one of the speaking roles, so to speak.
Gotcha.
But so there's no difference really, especially on like TV, between a co-star who has one line and a co-star who has two scenes.
Gotcha.
Depending on how many days you're on set, you get paid more. But this scene is like, it'll be maybe 30 seconds long, 45 seconds long.
Okay.
If it makes the cut. Let's hope it does.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that too. So a lot of listeners out there, if you're not an actor, an actress, or you even think about it, sometimes you can film something and they're not going to put it out. You'll still get paid.
Yeah.
But sometimes the director just chooses not to put it in, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's literally like a luck of the draw type thing.
I remember I got an audition for something, and I was so set to go. Had my wardrobe, I brought it all to work, had my makeup kit ready to go, and had childcare arranged. And then I got a call, and even before I auditioned, they'd cut the role.
Oh my gosh!
And it's so, now I'd say one thing a lot of people don't realize when they're not in the industry about being an actor is that yes, it's really hard to book a job. Statistically, I've heard more than once, just assume you're not getting it, because statistically you won't.
Yes.
It's not yours. But getting in the room is like winning the lottery. Just getting the appointment and being seen at all is so difficult.
For an audition.
They'll see thousands and thousands and thousands of headshots for a small 2-line co-star on a TV show. The kind of roles that most of us don't even notice because they fit so much into like the background of the story, And
you would never think, as a person outside looking in, like that would have to be hard to get. Like, how easy is that? How easy is it to be like, I'd say 2 lines, or I say 1 line, or I have to just like, do like a expression.
Yeah.
So I get it.
That expression you just said, you worked your butt off to get that.
Yeah, right. And it was so funny because when I first auditioned to be the new in-arena host for the Lakers, I'm like, I got the audition, and I'm like in a room for like 10 other people, or 10 to 12 other people, and I'm just like, oh my God. And who said something? I forgot who said it to me. It's like, man, you just lucky that you got the audition. Like, you understand how many applicants put in for that position? And so I remember when the guy was like, yeah, who wants to go first? And I'm like, I shut up, like, I'm going first. Because in my mindset, I'm like, listen, I'm about to tell you right now. And I told everybody, like, y'all better be that much better than me, because I'm about to go in there and kill it.
Yeah,
I told everybody that. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, hey, guys, I'm just letting you know. And I'm trying to be cocky, but, hey, I want this job. So y'all better be way better than me. And apparently somebody was. Apparently somebody was. I killed it. Now, here's the thing that happened, and you can probably understand this, is the fact that I know I killed it. It was amazing. I think I did great. When he called me, he was almost like, he's like, normally I don't make this call.
Oh, did he call you to let you know?
He called me. He was just like, listen, normally I don't make this call, but you were good, but we're going to go with somebody else. And I said, hey, that's fine. Can you just tell me maybe some stuff I did? He said, to tell you the truth, man, you're in everybody's top 3. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in everybody's.
So close.
I was in everybody's top 3. And he was like, yeah, man, like we love this, love that. He says the problem was your improv is great, but it's a double-edged sword. Since we have time restrictions, it was one of those things I kind of improv'd a little bit too much on certain things.
Yeah.
I hit my lines and stuff like that, but I improv just a little bit too much. Like I was actually pretending like I was with somebody.
It's too bad because they could have just asked you, okay, maybe cut down on the improv because of time restrictions. Let's take this part
Exactly.
again.
But I think maybe
I
it could.
don't
I don't know if it was maybe they were going for a physical look, because I know in that kind of industry, there's a lot more female basketball in arena host. So
okay.
maybe that was the niche they were going for.
Yeah.
A pretty face like that.
A lot of stuff. I've come to peace with the fact that there's a lot that is out of my control. All I can do is show them what I can do and how the character would feel if I played it.
Yeah.
And then just know that I did my best, and then.
But you said it right though.
out,
You got
so.
get in the room. Like you just at least get in the room. Like, and that's the thing.
It
and
is.
that's hard.
It's so hard. And I mean, I think I'm vaguely accurate here. I'm trying to remember what I read. Like a co-star role, a small. I did Criminal Minds. I did Fox's 911.
Yeah.
Both of those were co-stars. I had maybe 7 or 8 lines for Criminal Minds, and
that's
only,
big. You was in Criminal Minds. You were in Criminal Minds.
And that was such
my God.
a lovely show to work on. I swear, I think the reason it's been on for so many years is because the people on the show were really happy to be there. Like, not just the cast, the crew, they were like a family. And you could feel it that and I was there right toward the end of the run, so I could, they knew it was coming, counting
Were those
down.
the 2 biggest things you've done so far?
On TV?
On TV.
Yeah, those are the most. I just did 911, the Halloween episode last 2019.
Okay, yeah.
And then Criminal Minds is a year before.
Mm-hmm.
The funny coincidence is that I booked both of those while I was teaching the music theater class. And I told the kids they're my lucky charm because I had to show up and say, okay, I've got an audition, guys, so you're going to get a substitute for the substitute.
Wow.
And they were so sweet. They would
school,
cheer me on.
The school was cool with that.
The school was great. And
Okay.
and then when I booked it, then they get a substitute for the days I was shooting.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They were so proud of me.
I'm proud of you, damn it. I'm just like, what the hell? This is amazing. I couldn't. Man, it's so hard, and like you said, this is so hard to get in the room and just land that role.
Yeah.
And you had a couple of lines on, 911, right? And
yeah, that was so much fun. Mm-hmm. That was another great set. Really, yeah, it's hard because you want to be part of that family because people, I'm trying to think if I've ever had a bad experience, and I actually haven't. I know Hollywood gets a bad rap for people with outsized personalities and egos, but most of the time I work with some really amazing people.
And you're there all day, all hours, and it's just.
And I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, my husband knew that this was not. He came to watch me once when I was shooting something. I couldn't get him. I wouldn't be able to invite him onto one of those big sets, but a smaller indie. Yeah. And it was about an hour in. He's like, "Okay, I'm done.
Good. I'm good.
I'm gonna leave." And I was like, oh, okay. And I was just completely sitting around and waiting. I was happy.
Scenes take hours on hours. It's so funny. I was actually a production assistant on a short film. And just by just being a PA, I'm like, oh my God,
the longest day.
I'm not even in the scene. I'm sitting and waiting. I'm just get this guy, move this around. Let's go get this, move
PAs
this furniture.
Are so invaluable,
and
they are the catch-all for anything that hasn't been assigned. And especially the more independent it is, the more responsibility.
So speaking of PA,
has.
I don't think I actually told you because I don't think I told you. Did I tell you about the Conan thing?
No, tell me.
So, my buddy of mine who got me essentially his friend worked on Conan's show as an electrician. For the most part.
Great.
And so he was like, "Hey man, I can get you over there, but it's not gonna get paid." And at first, I was in that mindset. I'm like, "Man, I can't leave my.
Paid,
I can get my. Yeah, I can get my fee. I can get my. I was supposed to be like a PA, but this is like I'm trying. Give me into the story, and I'll let you know exactly what happened.
I have to. Like, part of me is like, when was this? Because I know there was a big kerfluffle about these big production companies using unpaid interns and the fact that it's not okay. People need to get paid. It's a lot of work.
Here's the thing, though. So when he told me at first, I said, I was like, you know what, I can't do it because I was working full time. I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Like I need to go hard on this. I need to start.
Yeah.
If I want to get in the industry a little bit, I gotta go hard. So I said, forget it. And I sent. So he contacted his friend who works for Conan, and then he told one of the people there, and then she emailed me, and then she was like, hey, got your number from such and such and such. Saying that you're looking for, I got a PA position, somebody that's run around does errands, da 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 da. I said, that's cool. You're like, yeah, when can we talk? Send me in your resume. So I sent her my resume, but I also sent her in my reel, just on a whim, just send her my reel, which is my hosting reel. And then she hit me back. She's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. She's like, yeah. I said, yeah, so the PA position, right? She's like, yeah, but I want to talk to you about your hosting. And
Oh, that's
I was like, oh yeah, this. Okay, so what are some things you've done and did this stuff? And then we were talking. I made her like crack up on something. And then she's like, I also have my another colleague on there that was running the show. So basically, what Conan does, he does a pop up show in San Diego every year for Comic Con.
yeah.
So he has his show done at a theater, and then down the street he has what's called Team Coco House, which is a pop up comedy club. And so basically, I was working that part of the show. I was working the comedy club. And so it was a long story short. She just hit me up like, "Hey, we like what you have going on with this, and we want to go ahead and offer you the audience assistant coordinator just position." I'm like,
That is fantastic.
I don't know what the hell an audience assistant coordinator is. I'm looking it up. I'm like, what the hell is this? And so she's like, yeah, this is how much we're gonna pay you. Da da da. This is your per diem. When your per diem is, the money you get. For those who don't know, per diem is pretty much like your food money.
It's amazing.
It's money for
Somebody
food.
pays for you to go out and eat at a restaurant. It feels way too good to be true.
Oh my God. So I'm like, and then I had a room, and I was at the Wyndham, or was it the Westin? I think I was at the Westin. And
Or
I'm just like, oh, I am over here like, is this how what am I doing? Like, what the hell am I doing with my life, And I remember checking in like on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I didn't leave till Sunday, and I'm just like in the room by myself.
oh, that must have been
It was
so
amazing.
fun.
And
I like Comic-Con. I've only been once, but
I've never actually physically been in Comic-Con, but
it's bonkers. I realize that I love the whole idea of it, and I love the fact that people come dressed as their passion, and you get to
Yeah.
see everyone's creativity and interests. But I'm not much of a shopper, so
Mhm.
the whole arena of buy stuff doesn't really. I'm like, my house is stuffed as it is. I
Yeah.
want to get rid of. I want to own less things, not more. And then
see, I'm a collector, so I collect pops and toys
yeah,
and stuff
you
like
would
that.
have so much fun. And then the other major part of it is all the Q&As and the panels.
Mhm.
But I don't like waiting in line. Like that's why I never went to any concerts as a kid, because I didn't want to do that lineup for Ticketmaster.
Oh my
For
gosh. I've never
6
been to a concert
hours
either.
at 6 a.m. or whatever it is, and you have to do that if
Yeah.
you want to get into any of the. You have to really commit to like
Yeah.
getting into that.
I couldn't sit on a panel. Like I wouldn't be able to do a panel. Like I don't want to stand in line and ask them the questions. Like my favorite show was Game of Thrones, and I'm like, oh, that'd be dope. Is like ask them questions. I'm like, but what questions I'm really gonna ask them that they can really
Yeah.
answer? You know what I mean? Like, yo, what happens at the end? Like I know that's the question I want to know. We can't tell you. Like, oh damn. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Hey, so did you really have sex with such and such, such and such? I just want to know. No? Okay, it was fake. I get it.
There's a whole other conversation about acting.
Oh my gosh,
Right
that
there.
is that kind of acting. Whew. Yeah. Anyway,
But and obviously Comic-Con was virtual this year, but
Yeah.
are you maybe 2021?
I don't know, and that was the thing. Like I was seeing if I did a good enough job, if they'll let me come back and do it this year. And basically, I end up hosting it. So I did like
Yeah.
what we call over God announcements. So I just spoke over PA majority of the time. There was a couple of times I went on stage and actually said some stuff, introduced some people. So that was cool,
You
and everybody for the
definitely
Conan show was
Check
amazing.
back in with your person, and
She
just say-
actually hired me to be a PA on one of her shorts. So
Oh,
she was producing. She was
great.
executive producer. And she was like, I need some PAs,
Oh,
and she hit me up, and I was like, yeah, thank you. She was great. Shout out to Ruthie if you're listening. I appreciate it. She was great. Her whole staff was great. Everybody at Conan's staff was great, but. Basically, what I'm saying is because the behind the scenes, the stuff that you don't see, and how long it takes, and the people who the PAs that got to go out do this and do that, or the prop people that do this, or the people that get the talent. Like, there's so many different people, and I used to think like, why are there so many damn people on this damn cinema screen I'm like because they all have like and you think like I can do without the assistant lighting coordinator. Like no, you can't. Like it's it's like it's just so much to do, and it's just like you don't realize it until you're like really in it and you're in the industry and you're like wow that's
and it's as an actor I think we definitely. I hope other actors don't get mad at me for saying this, but I really feel like we got the easy job. Okay, yes, we're gonna have days when we're soaking wet and it's freezing outside, and we're supposed to have some emotional scene where our lover dies in front of us or something. Yeah, those are hard. Those are really hard days. Yeah, but for the most part, people are getting there hours before you even show up, and they're leaving hours after you've gone home, and you're sitting in it's more of a nook than a trailer when you're on a co-star level, but I have a nook to sit in out of the wind.
Got you.
And so they work really hard. The crew works really hard.
Everybody does.
And it's, I know that I have a lot of friends in different positions, and I know that I wonder when they get to even do laundry sometimes. It's like, it's the weekends. It's their one day off. That's when they get all their stuff done. And
so one thing I've always wanted to ask actors and actresses, right, is, are you ever afraid to get typecast? No, because I feel
I already am typecast. I'm typecast as the tragic mom right now.
Wow.
I'm
that's life.
Constantly getting cast as the mom who has some horrible emotional thing that she has to go through. And I'm okay with that because for now it'll get me work, and then I'm hoping that once I work enough, I can start branching out.
I think that's better because the reason I'm thinking about typecast, I'm thinking about certain characters that like are really like, okay, for example, Jaleel White, who plays Urkel. I feel like he played Urkel so well. Now when he gets, it's always Urkel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not even typecasting. That's you being identified with a character, one particular character that no one can. It happened to the actor played Nosferatu way back in the day.
Oh my God!
Or Anthony Bates, who. Or is that the character name?
I don't know what's
calling myself out. Psycho.
Psycho. Yeah.
Like he couldn't get another job after that because everyone was so freaked out by him, and that is tough. But people. I mean,
it's hard because I looked at, like I said, one of my favorite shows on TV was Game of Thrones, and I look at some of those actors and actresses. I'm like, how hard is it? Because I'm like. When I see, I don't really, it's so funny is I blank when I don't even know her real name sometimes. And Mother of Dragons. Oh my God.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Something Clark. Emily.
Yes.
Emily Clarkson. Emily Clarkson. No, not Emily Clarkson. See, this is the problem. She played, Daenerys Targaryen so well. It's like, oh, that's Daenerys. Like it is hard because I think I watched her movie. It was a Christmas movie, and she like falls in love with this pretty much in the final. It was a ghost, but everybody didn't. It was weird. Anyway, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but the whole time like that's Daenerys, But I'm saying, but she plays the iconic role.
It is, I've never had that problem, so I can't relate. But I imagine that. It's probably a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Royalties
on top of royalties, though.
I know that I think I just read an article that the actress who played the recent Star Wars movies, the lead actress.
I can't remember the name.
She was having a hard time getting cast as anything afterwards because everyone just saw her as she's the girl from Star Wars.
Exactly. You gotta have one of those off characters. Like, speaking of Star Wars, because you have a person like, oh my gosh. I'm just having a brain fart. This wine is fucking me up, I guess. That's what it is.
Hopefully everyone is drinking with us.
Yes, so take a sip right
now. They're
now.
only yelling at us the names of the people we can't remember. They're yelling, hopefully, with good humor and not anger. I'm thinking to myself,
there's a lot of actors and actors out there that have, like, those roles. It's like, oh, I know that guy from that movie, but they still can play other movies. It's ridiculous, but...
Yeah, I think if you persist, you can break out of any sort of, I mean, in some ways you just need a little bit of time lapse, and hopefully you've made enough money on whatever major character it was that you can just take it easy for a little while and then get recast.
I guess, one thing I want to ask you too is, do you feel now where you're at in your career, you feel like you've been a successful actress?
No.
No, not yet.
No, well,
Everybody measures
and
success
when
differently.
I say
That's why.
that, I know that. I mean, I had one friend once who was like, Alisha, what are you talking about? I'd give my left arm to have a resume like yours,
Yeah.
and I realized that it, for me to say that, there's a lot of people are like, that's stupid. You're doing great.
Yeah.
But I would really love to just wake up every day and go to work as an actor,
yes.
instead of trying to fit it in around my other job.
Yeah.
And because I love it, and it would be nice to get to do it more often.
What do you think was the role that put you over the top, where you felt like you started getting more acting jobs?
It hasn't happened.
No?
It's I remember now when this was way back when,
Okay.
we're talking like 2009. I had worked with a director when he was a student at Chapman University, and we got along great. And we tried to do a short together, which he never finished. Tunde, he never finished it. But then, and then he was going to do a low budget horror, and he wrote a role for me, and I was just thrilled. And then the producer came back saying they wanted someone with a name.
Okay.
And I remember when I found out, because he called and he let me know. And I found out first because my agent called me. She said, Alisha, I thought you said you were cast in this role. Why is it in the breakdowns? Which breakdowns are something that go out to all the agents and managers to say, this is what we're casting for. And I was like,
Gotcha.
I don't know. And I called him up, and he broke the hard news to me, and I was crying. But I knew that, he was in a really tough position.
Yeah.
He's trying to get his first feature off the ground. The person who's helping him finance his project is saying,
Let's get a big name.
I need something better.
Yeah, gotcha.
I need a name. So I swallowed the bitter pill and remembered that he was doing the best he could. And years later, he calls me up, and he has a feature that he's making in Bulgaria, and he wants to put me on tape. He had me put myself on tape for like 4 or 5. Oh, actually, I forgot. He helped me. He asked my help to even do the pitch.
Oh, wow.
So I helped him put together the pitch, an acting role in the pitch. And then when it got the green light, he had me put myself on tape for anything I could possibly fit.
Oh, wow.
He picked his favorite one, sent it to the producer, and then I found myself in Bulgaria shooting opposite Mila Jovovich in another alien movie called The Fourth Kind.
Ooh, I've seen that.
You have?
I've heard of that movie, The Fourth Kind.
Yeah, it's...
Oh my God.
It's the one where it's structured as if you're watching like real life video, and then Mila Jovovich is reenacting it. So you have the actors, and then you have they sold it as a real movie.
Gotcha.
I think everybody knows now that it was set up, but so when I booked that, and it was distributed by Universal Studios, and it was in 2,000 theaters. And I mean, I thought that was finally it. I had a credit on my resume that wasn't an unrecognizable short or an unrecognizable indie. I was like, this is it. I'm finally going to start getting in the doors, and I'm going to start getting auditions. And I got nothing. Zero auditions.
All that work, and you just...
And it was so hard, even like, that job came through relationship that had started years ago on a student film, and
I just really built relationship. That's probably the biggest
and he
key.
actually brought me back, and I booked another role in another film he did, another feature he did. So Tunde is, one of those people who really thank you, because he believes in me, and he calls me in when he can. And
this industry is literally about building a relationship with the right people.
Absolutely.
And you never know who's who and you don't want to piss people off.
Yeah.
So-
Don't be an asshole because
Yeah.
that person. Oh, actually, not that I was an asshole, but here's an example. I worked as an assistant for a line producer for a while, and I hired a PA. She was lovely, worked hard. Years later, she was now a producer with that same production company, producing their movies. And I met her as a PA. I was her boss at the time. And now she's the producer. And she called me in to read for one of her films once.
Wow.
So, not that I try never to be an asshole, but it's a real lesson. You know, don't be a jerk because
People remember that.
they'll pass you on their way up the ladder, and they'll remember that you were the jerk.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? Before you got an agent, how were you booking gigs? Were you doing like LA casting and stuff like that?
Yes, LA. Well, I'm gonna age myself, but
Okay.
when I graduated from college, Backstage West was a newspaper, so I would
Okay.
literally circle casting notices
Okay.
in the newspaper, put my
Old
headshot
school.
and resume in an envelope, and mail it out
Oh, wow.
with a cover
Okay, yeah.
letter. And so I would try to get all that stuff on my own, and that also then turned into essentially now, which is Actors Access is the version of the breakdown services that actors can access. Because the
Okay.
thing about all these roles on television is actors don't have any access to those casting notices. We don't know what they're casting. We don't know if we're right for anything they're doing.
Okay.
Only agents and managers get access to it. And because they pay
Yeah.
a fee to get access to it. And I understand that casting directors do that because if they opened it to all actors, they would have easily 30,000 submissions.
Yeah.
They already get 6,000 submissions as it is through agents and managers.
Got you.
So, if you're not getting the stuff that is released directly to actors, you need a representation to get you in the door.
So you find out even like before I even start something, I should get a representation.
Yeah, it would help. It would help a lot.
How do you go by finding somebody like that?
Emailing them now. You could try old fashioned snail mail and send out your stuff to them with a cover letter. But it's really hard.
Well, I've been thinking about trying to get an agent for, but because as a host, but I don't
yeah.
know who that would be. And then like you see certain agents that hit me up and I'm like, is this really legit? Like,
Yeah,
who are these people? You know what I mean?
And you're not wrong to be suspect because, yeah, I would say there are agents who have hosts. You need to find people that aren't so big because the big agencies, they only represent you when you've already done all the hard work. You need to find that small agency who wants to take a chance on you. And
I guess it's my biggest thing is I don't know what small agencies to go after.
Yeah, I don't know myself with hosting, but that is something off the mic. We could look it up.
Yeah,
I feel
because I'm just like, I might need to get me an agent for just being a host. And my thing has been like I said, I don't know who's legit, who's not legit, where to look, where do I find it. I've seen some list on like LA casting and stuff like that. I am on Actors Access, I do that. So
yeah, I would say if anybody's asking for money up front, no. If anybody's insisting that you take this class or take those pictures, no. And then after that, you just have to hope that the people I'm with right now, I'm excited. They're the ones who that I booked 911 through and Invasion, this one that I just booked recently. She seems to like my work. Like she likes
great.
my work, and my manager's great and really supportive, and he'll make phone calls. So I'm feeling like I may finally be in a position where I have a good team behind me.
that's what's up.
And, it only took 20 years, but
It's the slow burn, right? And we got to deal with that. And it's like, my buddy we were talking about that on one of our podcasts. Talking about it's a slow burn. Like, and the funny thing, he said the same thing as even as a stand-up comedian and as an actor. He's done some stuff like he's done Meet the Browns. He's done some other things too. And he's just like, man, it's like you just never know who you're gonna meet. I got this because of this person. I got this because of that person. And he's like, just always be kind. And that sounds so hippish to say, I guess you can say, is like, just be kind to everybody. But like, if you're an actor, an actress, if that's your role, then you got to play up, you have to, not say kiss ass, but you know what I mean? You got to be just nice and,
Well, it makes the
everybody.
world a nicer place,
Yeah.
too, not to have people walk around.
Just being, unless that's your persona, like you just an asshole. Like, I play an asshole, I'm an asshole. That's it. You know what I mean? Hire me because I'm an asshole. That's why you hire me, because I'm an asshole. It's like Charlamagne the God. Like, you guys hire me because I'm an asshole. I talk shit to everybody. Like, that's why they hire Charlamagne. I love his controversy. But, so I want to do something fun real quick.
Okay.
Is let's do this. All the movies, let's say all movies out there. What movie back in the day would you want to be on?
Oh, back in the day.
Like, what movie would you like?
Oh, God, you know what? I really wish I could have been in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like,
Oh my gosh! I didn't never think you would say something
oh,
like that.
I know.
No,
No, people like I am so I want to be in out of this world wardrobe, and I want to wield a sword or have magic powers or something. Like, I always get cast in the most realistic, very subtle human dramas, and deep inside me, I have like a little Comic-Con nerd who's desperate to dress up and wield a sword and have elf ears or something.
Yeah, that'd be freaking amazing. You would have been great in like Viking or something like that too.
God, oh yes, please.
Have you seen the
From
show?
your lips, no, but I've seen the wardrobe.
Oh,
So
yeah.
put me
Put you
put me in that.
I mean, you got the hair. I mean, you got the demeanor for it. I mean, you can do it. Like, I don't see why that was, guys, put her in one of these things, okay? I'm just Merlin, the show Merlin.
Oh, I loved Merlin. Yeah, I would be happy to be on some Saturday afternoon goofball magic show, like Xena the Princess Warrior back in the day. That would have, yes.
Old school Hercules.
Sam Raimi, come on, man. I love that kind of stuff. I mean, I grew up reading fantasy novels, and then came Harry Potter, and then
Wow.
I
know you would love to be on Harry Potter, right? You could have been one of those people.
I would, yes. Well, now they're in America with all the prequel stuff.
So they are doing prequels?
Yeah, well, all the what's the new stuff with Johnny Depp, all that stuff happened before Harry Potter.
Oh, you're talking. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you're talking about.
And
okay,
some of those take place in America. So
I got you. I know what you're talking about.
I'd
Okay.
like to think that I could handle
Crimes
British
Against
accent,
Grindelwald and
but-
Crimes Against Grindelwald. And,
Yes,
I forgot
those-
the other one was called Mystic Beasts or Mystic.
yes, Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts.
Yes.
There you go. There it is.
I mean, never mind.
That's so funny. That is so funny that you mentioned that, because I'm just like, that is something I would love to do. Like, oh man, I would love to be in Game of Thrones, or I would have loved being in Viking.
Yes, no.
And I like to count all the black people in those shows, and I'm just like, well, I'm like, Harry Potter has maybe like 4, like in the whole entire series. I'm like, damn.
The Academy just passed this new thing that you can't be nominated for a Best Picture unless you have a certain amount of diversity, either in front of or behind the camera.
Ooh, wow.
And it's a small step.
Yeah.
But the fact that people now have to, I mean, even if in front of the camera we're still having representation issues, behind the camera you're going to have people getting shots at jobs that they wouldn't have gotten before because it would have already gone to so-and-so's friend that they've worked with.
Gotcha. And what is your take on that? Where do you stand on that? Like, do you feel there was enough maybe black representation or Asian representation? Well, I mean, no, it's not. I mean, Hollywood has been telling stories from one perspective for a really long time. Yeah.
The white man perspective.
Yeah.
And I like, there's a lot of white men I really like. I married one,
Yeah.
but their story has been the dominating story for
a long time.
For a long time. I don't even know how far back, all of time, maybe, I don't know. And that being said, we're only talking about American film history right now. I don't know enough to even begin to talk about other countries and their film industry. But speaking of America's Hollywood film industry and how it's not been around that long,
Gotcha.
It's only told one story, and I think there's a lot of people who it's hard for them, because I know male white actors who feel like it's gotten really unfair all of a sudden.
Oh, wow.
Because they're wanting to fill the smaller roles with diverse people. And I think, unfortunately, I get it, but I think it's just like, well, you just got to suck it up, man. Because everybody else has been in the position you're in for a really long time, where they couldn't get in the door to play the doctor. They could only get in the door for these few roles, you know, the Latina maid or the black gangbanger. Like, all of a sudden, you got to suck it up. And I'm just hoping that the pendulum's, you know, it's swinging one direction, hopefully being pushed, and then I'm hoping it'll come back and it will just be a more diverse story.
Well,
place.
Tyler Perry is like, well, fuck it, I'll just make my own shit. Like,
yeah.
so
Oh,
Tyler Perry
man. I would love to be the token white girl in his world, because he has this studio in Atlanta, and I hear that he just brings everyone in, and they all get tested, and they all stay there, and they make their movies. How many acres he has? It's ridiculous. Yeah. I keep hoping that I can become some niche genre and get in there and just work all the time. And yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. Everyone's streaming, not just Netflix, but streaming, I think, is amazing, because it's opened up the ability for directors to tell stories that don't have to be this general mass, you know, feeding for everyone. You know, we can tell these very individual stories that wouldn't have gotten greenlit. Yeah. And now, you know, you have people, I'm thinking of the one that just sprung to mind was Unorthodox. You know, you have a story, which I have yet to see. It's on my watch list.
I haven't seen that one yet.
But, you know, this is a story about an Orthodox Jewish woman kind of rebelling against her upbringing, and I don't know if that would have found a place on CBS back in the day next to JAG, you know. This is but they can make it now because they don't have to please the entire country. True. And then you and I get to sit and watch something that maybe isn't our world either and learn something. And
that's so true. And it's been hard to try to sit and watch and like, okay, why I can't play that role. I can't play. Like, for example, when I used to work at Disney, and I love Disney, but there was not a lot of black characters at Disney. So even if I wanted to go out and act in a black character, I wanted to go out as a character, like what they call face characters, or ones that don't wear like the costume with the fuzzy heads and stuff like that, like your Mickeys and stuff like that. It was hard because there wasn't any black characters, so you couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to. I know there's
no black male characters.
The frog, the prince. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a black male character.
And he's what they call him. He's like not Croatian, but he's Creole. You know what I mean? So he's like a mix, like a French. And the guy that was playing them, that was singing at I think Disneyland one time, was like a weird Asian guy looking guy. So it was kind of crazy. Like I'd be the voodoo guy, but I'm too short to be the voodoo guy because voodoo guy's like over 6 foot tall. So it's just one of those things.
No, it's a really good point. Like, you're looking at how many years of Disney filmmaking, and you can't find a role that you would fit in.
Yeah, a live action. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why Mulan was so prevalent to what it was, because the fact that now it's live action and it's live representation of Asian culture. So that was the great thing about the Mulan and stuff like that. So, but when they did The Lion King as quote unquote live action, but which really just CGI, I mean, there was no way to see, that, which I wasn't a big fan of anyway.
I didn't see it. I mean, it just.
You don't have to worry about it. You didn't miss nothing. Just stick to the original. You'll be fine. Now, one thing I want to ask you too is, what's one of your guilty pleasure movies? And what I mean by that is a movie that you might be deemed by society as really bad, but you're like, I just love that damn movie.
Some of my guilty pleasure movies, I don't know if they're guilty so much as that maybe people love them, but like the kind of movies that I like to go back, like Outrageous Fortune with Shelley Long and Bette Midler. I love that movie. It cracks me up every time. That movie is so old, and maybe it was a huge hit when it came out. I have no idea. I probably wasn't old enough to watch it when it came out, but God, they are so funny. And Overboard with with Goldie Hawn.
I know.
I mean, those sort of, or All of Me with Steve Martin,
Okay.
Lily Tomlin, like those might have been critical hits when they came out. I have no idea, but those are like the homecoming movies
Gotcha.
for me.
I'm a big '80s guy, so one of my favorite throwback movies is Secret to My Success. So like,
Oh, that's Michael J. Fox,
Yeah,
right?
Michael J.
I don't
Fox.
think I ever saw that. I can
What?
picture the VHS cover, but I can't think of what the
Yeah,
movie's about, so I must
yeah.
not have ever seen it.
yeah, he pretends to be a hot shock executive.
Yeah,
And
no, I
he
never
works
did.
in the mailroom, really, and so he's like doing both lives. It's pretty cool. I like that, maybe because I thought maybe one day I can do that. And I like a lot. I think about it, I like a lot of his movies, and the funny thing is, the least favorite I have is Back to the Future by him. That's so funny.
Oh, really?
Like,
Yeah,
I like-
that is everyone's go-to.
Exactly. So I like Secret to My Success, and I also like the other one he did, For the Love of Money. And I'm just like, those are my two favorite.
I
But like a
haven't
lot of
seen
people.
that one either.
Oh wow,
I know.
you're killing it.
as a pandemic, I've got
You got
time
time.
now to catch.
So in your pandemic? What's been your go-to series to watch?
Okay, well here's guilty pleasure. I've been watching Elementary,
Okay.
which is the old Sherlock Holmes show with now I love Benedict Cumberbatch, and I
Okay.
loved their version of Sherlock as well.
Okay.
And I think it deserves all the credit it gets for how good it is. But I have to say, it's Johnny Lee Miller. Oh, Hackers. That's a guilty pleasure movie.
Hackers?
I love that movie.
Oh wow, yeah, that
Back
because
in
I don't
the
know who
day.
like hackers. Who
I had the soundtrack.
I gotta take a sip for that.
Okay, there's my guilty pleasure. Okay, I haven't seen it in years, but man, I love that movie when it came out.
Wow.
I not only bought the first Hacker soundtrack, but I had the second one too.
Okay, now hackers had
Angelina Jolie.
was Macaulay Culkin the hackers?
No, it's the guy you're thinking of. The guy who was in Scream. Somebody's
It's been a long
listening
time
to
since I've
it right
seen
now,
Hackers.
yelling out his name.
It's been a long time
And
since I've seen
then he
Hackers.
played Shaggy in Scooby Doo, which I won't. I can't see that. That just
I know
looks
you're talking
way
about
too
now. Like
stupid.
I can
He
visualize
was
him.
in that, and Johnny Lee Miller played like the main like hacker dude.
Got you.
And
Okay.
but anyway, he plays Sherlock Holmes, and I think I love the way he's playing him. He has great expressions. Lucy Liu is great as Watson. So I seem to be rediscovering all these old shows that have been on a long time ago, like came and gone, and everyone's forgotten about him.
And you haven't.
I'm now
right
currently
here.
watching it. Have I watched anything else? I feel like I just
Probably
Could
it.
have
No,
just-
it's been a long time for this pandemic, but
gone.
well, before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you, some words of wisdom you give people out there who are maybe up and coming actors or actresses, or somebody who's maybe trying to produce something, or maybe somebody that's
Oh
just
yeah,
trying
we
to
didn't
direct
get
something.
into producing.
Yeah, because you have some stuff you're producing right now, or
I produced a short that's doing, of course, with my luck, I produce a short that I really adore, and it's called Have Wine Will
Okay.
Travel. They drink rosé in it, so cheers.
okay, cheers, there it is.
And of course, we start trying to submit to film festivals when everything goes virtual. And nobody, like, what's the fun in going to a film festival? It's virtual. One of my favorite parts is like the open bar in the filmmakers lounge. Come on. But I have two features, one that I co-wrote with my friend Andy Gates, and we're both, we both wrote it, hoping we can play the two leads.
Yeah.
It's a horror film that I had a lot of fun writing. I didn't
Okay.
even know I would like it until he got me into it. And then another film called The Fairy and the Troll that a producer and director that I've worked with before are trying to get going. And we literally, the weekend before the pandemic hit and everything shut down, we met to say that, yes, we love the last draft of the script. We're ready to send it out. Let's get this made. And then and then the world shut down.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that I will be able to come back to you one day and say, hey, one or both of them are getting made when things open
Yes,
back up.
they're
but
gonna get made.
We're talking about advice. First, if you're moving to LA, find me on Instagram and send me, or Facebook, send me a message and ask my advice, because I am happy to give it away.
Yeah.
And It's really hard. If you just want to make money, there's a lot of other jobs you can do, and you'll make a lot more money than trying to come to LA to be an actor. But if this is something that's in your blood, and because I had my like moment where it's like, why I'm banging my head against the door. I'm not where I thought I would be. Do I want to keep doing this? Is there anything else I want to do? And I realized that I would still rather be here pounding the pavement, banging against the brick wall, trying to break through, because those little moments when I get on set and I get to be part of it, the storytelling, I'm so happy to be there. So it's still worth it for me to, the struggle is worth it. So I would say just you got to be in it for the long haul, and prepare yourself, develop a thick skin. It's really tough. And if you can, in this day and age, like it's different than when I started off, like we are in this new world where you can be an actor and the writer and the producer. You can create your own
all
content.
your stuff. Yep.
And if you have if you have a story you want to tell, write it down. If you don't know how to write it down, get a writing partner and work with them and get it made, because the story is king.
Yes.
The writers, I'm sure, can tell you that. Like, there's nothing without the story. No one else can show up and have a job until the story is there. And there's so many stories yet to be told.
Definitely.
So if you have anything, get it written down and come out here and make it.
That's the name of the game. So where can the people out there check you out at on your social media stuff? You want to shut that out real fast for us?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm easy to find. I just make it my first and last name pretty much all the time.
Okay,
Alisha Seaton, I hate when, I don't know why everyone's Instagram are these weird, mysterious names, because I don't know whose picture of a sunset I'm looking at, because I don't know who, Braid Double D dog is, I'm like, but just put your name so I know who
I know who you are. I know how to find you, man.
I'm Alisha Seaton.
All right. Well, Alisha, thank you once again for coming on the CJ on the Spot podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate you coming on.
Oh, this was so much fun.
Oh, my God. We're going to do this again because this is a blast. Maybe we'll bring Juan on one of these days and he can actually
yes.
sit down with us and have a conversation
you can
with some
hassle
Rosé.
him about that project that he owes
Yeah,
you too.
that project that I'm like, what's going on with the damn project, man? Well, once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been CJ. I've been on the CJ on the Spot podcast. I holla when I holla at you. Peace.
CJ the host with the most. No telling really where we gonna go. Just strap your seatbelt up and roll. Whoa. Oh, if you didn't know, not yet, no. This to come up, watch me glow. Lights, camera, start the show.